Alright, today's video here is a little bit different than what I usually do, but I'm going to review a record that I pick up really quickly here. And you may be wondering, what the heck is on the screen here? Well, I have the official music video for Latrell's Lucky Ones, Eric Latrell. He just goes by Latrell. A lot of DJs go by a different name or their last name, what have you. It's easier to remember Latrell than Eric Latrell or something like that. I believe he's a DJ out of the San Francisco Bay Area. Don't quote me on that one. But it makes sense when you see the record cover here in just a second here. This is his particular video here. Very, very unique and quirky video. In fact, I think that's the dancers from Soul Train mixed in there. A bunch of Soul Train dancers that got mixed in there in between, you know, Ocean Waves and Fish. Very unique and unusual there. But anyway, so I was able to get, and I don't have the piece of paper here. I might try to show you that at the end of the video who I got that from, because a pretty good service there, and they said they're a small business and they're aimed to please, you know, and do the best for people, and I believe that. And I've only ordered them from one time, so I might have to look at there. And they were also one of the cheaper vendors for this particular record. I think they were $4 or $5 cheaper than the next one, maybe even $6. And I got free shipping, I believe. So that was, but they have a huge, like a large, so, you know, just because of their size, don't be fooled. Now, I've only bought one item from them, and one tiny little flaw on the record sleeve here. We'll get to that in a minute here. I got a couple other things I want to show before I share this with you. I picked this up at the bin store. Again, it seems like I go there an awful lot, which I do and I don't at the same time. But I'm always very carefully picking everything, and my bill ended up to be quite small. It was only like $10, $11, $12, maybe it's $14. But for the stuff that I got, which I'll show in future videos, a couple of things are quite astounding. I found an item for maybe $3, $2, $3. That might turn out to be worth $100 or more. And I picked this up, and anytime you find things in a metal frame, remember, go to Michael's Craft Store. Years ago, I was looking to put a frame together, and I saw two side pieces. They come in packets of side pieces, and I think they were made by Nelson or something like that. I can't remember which company made that, Nielsen. And two side pieces were something like $17. So you have to imagine a piece of glass or plexiglass and four side pieces. That's almost $40, $50 for an aluminum frame kit to put together without anything else added to it. So I picked this up, and it came out to something crazy like $3.25. Very well put together by a gallery. And this is the Hale-Bopp Comet and Mount Hood, and it was his photography by Stephen Nell, staff photographer of the Oregonian. And I can't remember what else it mentions here, but it's really, really cool. The Hale-Bopp comet right there. It's a light in here, it's just absolutely atrocious here, so I'll try to do a, but there's a comet there. Very, very nice large frame. There's a kind of a dark green frame there. I have a spot for this. This looked really, really cool. And something like this could cost somebody at least $100 in a gallery. Yeah, it says, see the science section each Wednesday in the Oregonian. So very, very neat special display here. I don't know what the date on this one is. See if I can find anything else about it. Talks about 1997. And then this one says Custom Craft World Custom Framing. So somebody spent a fortune on this one, and it got sold to me for only $3.25. It sat almost the entire time I was at the Goodwill bin store at some bin, and if the one worker carried away the bin, then this would have been gone sayonara. And, you know, I like space stuff, so that's really cool. Now let's get back to this one here, and I'll show you one thing that I'm looking to pick up in the future. So I have two records, this one, and one is on the way, which I will look at and review at some point. This one has a slight ding right here on the outer jacket, but I don't really particularly care. And when you look for this album on different websites, they will show two different versions. They'll show this right here, and that's a cutout there, and then they will show this part of the cover here, with the VW and the painted lady houses there, and all kinds of interesting, you know, there's a Price is Right wheel right there, prize wheel, whatever it is, and Statue of Liberty, and then it goes on the back here with a field and some more houses and a few other things there, and then there's an inner picture here. It's a 2 LP set, or technically LPs, but what we got here, and then this is the inside one. Kind of reminds me of the Bonneville Salt Flats with some sort of little Chevrolet that's zooming across the desert there with a globe right there. I almost dropped something there, but anyway, we got that. So there's that one there. And there's two inner sleeves here, just the plain white inside there. Latrell Lucky ones. That's the one that I'm familiar with. Not super familiar with the other ones here. But see, each side will have about three little tunes on it. Some of them are very short, some of them are very long. So I don't know all of those, but I listened to a little bit before I made this video here. And we got some relatively generic looking inner sleeves here, multi-color there, some sort of sky, and there's that one there. Should be the Hale-Bopp Comet in the back here, right, probably. All tracks written, produced, and performed by Eric Latrell, published by Cobalt Music Publishing and JunaDeep.com, all that good stuff there. There's probably a little bit more information here. And then he wants to thank the fans who have been so kind to him the last 3 years. And this is from, I believe, 2020. I'm not sure. I think it is from 2020. So it's been out a little bit here. But like I said, it was about $34 to purchase this one, and I was really happy to get this one here. So then we have the pink gradient, and then down to the dark, and we have the dark to the pink, and that's kind of cool. I'll show you one of the vinyl records here without touching it, and there's some more of that color there. There's side A intro, What Do You Feel, and Lucky Ones. And that's probably the side A will probably be the one I listen to the most. And I just don't have the greatest of setups right now. And I'll show you a picture of part of that. I have to use a chair to stand up to get to the turntable. It's that kind of high there. And then I think that was what I had here. I think I'll show you the other one here and this other sleeve here just to show you it's fairly similar. And black vinyl. I'm not sure if there's like a limited edition one of these out there somewhere, but there's another blue and kind of a grayish variant there. Variation, gradation, and there's that. Of course, I think I showed you that before. So that's very cool, and it goes all back into this slip sleeve here. I want to do this very quickly so I don't damage anything. I have a little bit of time before I need to end the video here, so it'll work here perfectly. So that goes in like so. And like the new records, I keep in really pretty good condition. I don't treat them with kit gloves or whatever, but I do, try to keep them as good a condition as possible. And that's why a lot of record collectors get super annoyed when there's even a scratch or a dent or something on it. I just paid $34 and there's a dent on it. And everything, 99% of it is just fine. So why should you care about some little dent on the corner? And some of these little creases and dents happened when they got them, not when they shipped them to me. That's what people don't understand, is they have to sell those regardless of any kind of scratch or dent on it. Sometimes that's maybe why they give a discount on it if there's a damage on the sleeve. The plastic on here was already peeling off on the edge, but you know what? That was easier to open that way, so much better. So I'm really happy to get the Hale-Bopp Comet picture there, and that there, and really affordable. Now let's go to a couple other things here. I was looking up Nick Hayward earlier, and why was I looking up Nick Hayward? Because, a week or two ago, I got that 7-inch collector set. Everything's a collector set now. From 1986, 87, I don't really remember the date of that one. And Nick Hayward was from Haircut 100, so, and that was his first debut, aside from that, as a solo artist. And it came from North of a Miracle right here. And North of a Miracle, if you don't know, is a fairly affordable album. I'm going to pick up one of those somewhere between $2 and $10, and that may even include shipping for the $10 one. But one of the reasons that brought about this particular video here, and side note, cassettes, Rush, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Jimi Hendrix, Rush 2112, Rush Hemispheres, and this one was Rush Permanent Waves. Very cool. I got those at the bins for probably like $3.50. You don't find those very often. But what prompted this video is a lot of people are trying to pick up the pieces after all the crazy happened and trying to figure out what's left of the record collecting community, the baseball card collecting community, where things are available, why things are not still available in certain areas, and certain things have happened. And it's just, there's all kinds of record pressing plant issues, sports card, printing issues, and prices have jacked up, for the market that used to be there, and it's still still up for what used to be there, but it's not back down in some cases. And some people said the price of the cards are coming down, but that's, relative to all the other cards that are still going back on up. There are records that are still increasing in price and cost, and I could have easily played close to $50 for that, paid $50 for that first one I showed you. And Nick Hayward is something that you think you could just pick up on CD or a record at some sort of a CD/record type store. But it's something you can't really do very often because they just don't have the inventory like Discogs or eBay does. And so a lot of this 1980s stuff is either way overpriced or super forgotten. So like this one here, I go to Discogs here, and again, I thankfully have reinstated my account by giving them a new email and new password or new screen name. It just happened to be a crazy song that I was listening to, and I was like, that's a terrible name, but did it anyway just to test, and it worked. But see, so I'm looking at ones that are media condition near mint or mint minus. So they're pretty good condition, and some records I really want to keep a really nice cover for those. And the reason for that is I have to go back, I would say backtrack, go back into the future, go back in time 4 or 5 years when one of these record stores I used to shop at, 20 plus minutes away, 25 minutes away to a downtown, and they had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 45s all over the floor, and nobody but me was digging down on the floor. I could be down there for half an hour and not seeing anything. There probably were thousands of them, and in hindsight, I'd be spending $15 worth of those, or $17, $21, $22, and in hindsight, I didn't buy $100 worth of those. Many of those artists I didn't know, but I tried to grab everything 1980s, thinking that eventually there will be a resurgence of those, and there was. And a lot of things that I was getting for $1 were pictures discs, which a lot of people hate, but when you go and source these things, they're now $10 to $15, $25, $30 each. And I was very, very happy to get those. And whoever had this collection made sure that they had tons of imports and they had tons of mint condition or near mint conditions. The condition quality of these things were super ridiculous to me. I've never seen records in that great a condition for $1. And people are like, 45s, bleh, unless it's like some sort of rare pressing of Elvis or some, one-of-a-kind Hey Jude type thing from the Beatles, I don't want to see it. And that's how pretty much what it was. I had these people that were classic rock collectors and jazz collectors, and they said the 80s, they just want to throw up when they heard the term 80s. They said, I don't want all that synthesized pop type of music. And unfortunately, that's what I want to get. And a lot of it's all synthesized pop stuff. So again, there's a lot of unfortunate things, and then of course the videos I've been seeing are responses to how the community is still reacting to all this stuff, with all the Adeles and the Taylor Swifts that ruined everything and all of that stuff, and people buying represses of things that were never available back in the day, and then finding out that they were paying more for the repress versus the original, and then sometimes it made the original a crazy price, and everybody was, jumping on the Kate Bush train trying to get one of those. It was just absolutely ridiculous madness. And it still is, because the Goodwill stores didn't pick up early on enough on the record craze. And now mine, at least, has stolen all the records, and they just left a little bit of trash at their main store for $4 a piece, which is absolutely a crime, because those are available to me any day of the week at a couple other stores for $1 a piece, or 3 for $1. And sometimes I buy those 3 for $1 ones because they're so disgusting, I want to throw them away. And so I do somebody a service by buying 2, which I think are worth a couple dollars each, and then throw the other ones in the garbage, never to be seen again, because they're split, cracked, or got some sort of mold issues. And I don't want people to start saving everything. It's not like a special document that you need to save in the National Archives. There's thousands of copies of each one of these things. 78s. People keep saving them, but they get broken every day. If all the 78s somehow disappeared, but that's all digitally archived, 99% of that's digitally archived somewhere. And so there's not really a big deal that if all the 78 RPMs disappeared one day, somebody said, oh, I got my grandmother's, record collection, what do I do with it? and I said, have you ever heard of putting on the edge of a table and dropping it onto the floor by accident? I said, I've done that numerous times with records. I said, I don't mean to insult your collection, but the Bing Crosby market is not super huge here. Unless somebody wants to go out and buy a copy of White Christmas, they're just going to go to Amazon and buy a fresh or slightly used CD. So that's that one there. But again, let's get out of the near mint category here, and we'll show you all the different Hayward ones for North of a Miracle album here. Here's one for $3.38 here. And this is some other Nick Hayward album here that probably has that particular song on here. But $3.75, $3.99, $4 again. You know, not that I'm going to display this one here. I'll just try to show you the cover a little better here, if I can get to it here. Let's see, more images here. So yeah, this is the cover for this particular one here. I'll give you a better shot of it. I don't know what he's looking at in the store. Maybe some production lights or something. A skylight. Maybe he's looking at a guitar that he wishes he could afford. I have no idea. Just kind of a cool there, kind of a retro-inspired thing here. He's got a suit and tie on it. The hair slicked back like they did back in the old days, and there's kind of some sort of vintage guitar in the background there. And being from the UK, of course, you've got the double-decker bus there, and all very cool. And for very little. Again, a lot of my friends are very, very afraid to shop in the discount sections. Sometimes they will and see if they can find something. It's like, I don't even bother with that. And again, unfortunately, a lot of people are shutting themselves out of music, and that's why I was able to get all those 80s records, and it's only because the people that watched other videos and saw what people need to be getting, technically, that made some of these more popular or more copies harder to get, and so on and so forth. I really enjoy stuff that feels like it could have been in some sort of silly 80s comedy, or not 80s comedy, but some sort of iconic movie or forgotten movie from the 1980s in a soundtrack type of thing. And I really enjoy that stuff there. It's just really fun to me. So I really have not dropped out of the groups or but unfortunately the way shipping on things are, and the cost of them, the time to get things anymore, the lack of people trying to get stuff out in a prominent manner, and things coming from overseas that either arrive in bad condition or just don't arrive at all. This record here was the only piece of mail in the entire box, and it's already Wednesday. Thursday and Friday and Saturday will come with almost nothing in the boxes here. So that's why I'm changing things up here, but I'll show you a couple pictures at the end of the video, and let me know what you thought of this particular one, and thank you for watching.